Now, if you're somebody like me that has multiple AI subscriptions, you're working with Claude one day and then Codex one day, you find that Claude models are really good at planning, but Codex models are more efficient when it comes to token usage, and you want to use them to actually get work done. And you're kind of copy and pasting context from one agent to another. But what if there was one way to work with Codex and Claude in one simple workspace, and that allows both of these agents to communicate with each other and share context, so you're not spending time copy and pasting context from one agent to another? Well, I just found an open source solution for exactly that, and I'm going to show you guys today how to use it. So let's get into it. So for today's demo, we're actually going to be using the Traycer's new workspace, which is actually open source. And what this workspace is that it allows you to do AI orchestration. You can combine model providers, meaning you can have Codex work with Claude, or you can even have open source models like Kimi work with Codex or work with Claude, whatever you want, or you can have all three of them working at the same time. And this is what I like about this application, because you can bring in your agent. If you already have your subscriptions, you don't need to buy anything else. You can just connect your existing coding agents without paying, obviously, another subscription fee or anything like that. Also, all of these agents have one shared context, so whatever work that Codex does, Claude Code directly understands what it's doing and is able to communicate with each other because of this agent-to-agent communication. And this allows all these agents to talk with each other, to debate how to approach a problem or review each other's work. So you're kind of giving your open source models a better harness with the frontier labs like openai's and anthropic's models. And you can have DeepSeek, for example, actually doing the work, which is probably the most efficient model, as we all know. And this kind of allows you to not only create this workspace for yourself, but you also have the ability to share with others, and you can obviously sync this across multiple devices. And the installation is pretty simple. It's available on Mac OS, even the old Macs, Linux, Windows, whatever. I'll put a link in the description to this page as well, and you can get started with this. And one thing to note, I've worked with Traycer in the past, and they're actually sponsoring today's video, so definitely check them out. So right now, I am inside the Traycer desktop application. And over here, you can see you have access to multiple models. So I've actually connected my Codex subscription, my Claude Code subscription, as well my opencode subscription, because what I'm going to show today is working with the frontier labs and some of the open source labs at the bottom over here, especially DeepSeek version 4 Flash. And if you're working with Traycer, you can manually select these models, or you can just chat and just say like, hey, I want to use GPT 5.5 or GPT 5.6. I want you to also use XYZ model for testing or whatever the case is. But whatever model you select, let's say I selected GPT 5.6 Soul, you can select the thinking that it has depending on what model provider it is. For example, for Claude Code, you have low, medium, high, extra high, max. And then for any of these models, you have low, high, max, for example. So then you can just type it in. You also have abilities to link in any existing folders, or you can just start working with a new folder. And these are my past chats, for example, that I had going on. But everything that you work in the past will show up here. So today I'm going to show you guys an example. A simple example first is that I want to create a voxel garden with a movable player using Opus 5 for planning. So this is going to be the model that's actually going to plan out the whole workflow, kind of be the agent orchestrator in this example. Then I wanted to use DeepSeek version 4 Flash for executing. Why? Because this is probably one of the most powerful models when it comes to efficiency. And then I wanted to use GPT 5.6 Soul for actually reviewing the work. And I think that is a really critical step, because you want a model that is not actually doing the work or planning the work to review it, because that holds it to a higher standard compared to somebody that's like, writing its own work and then checking it. You're obviously going to miss something. So this setup I think is ideal. And then since I want Opus 5 to actually do the planning, I'm just going to select that over here and then select Opus 5. And then I'll just set it to high, because we obviously want a high model for planning. I could set it to extra high max, but I think high will get the job done. And then I'm just going to press enter. So you can see at the top over here, it's starting to plan, and it's using Opus 5 because we selected that. And then it's going to launch sub agents based off of the agents we described, DeepSeek version 4 Flash and GPT 5.6 Soul. So you can see at this step over here, it realizes that I have two models available. One on the opencode harness that I have selected, and another on Codex, and I'm working as the Opus 5 planner on the Claude harness. So this workspace allows it to communicate with all of these agents and set them up without you actually having to worry about setting all of this up or creating that pipeline between all of these agents. And at the bottom over here, I have given this full access. Let's say if you wanted to, be supervised, ask you before it changes anything, you can set that. But for now, I'm just going to give it full access, so I'm not interrupted with like multiple prompts. So at the left over here, you have all of your agents working. For example, this is the executor DeepSeek one working. So I could pin this to the side. And over here, we can see it's working with DeepSeek. And at the side over here, we have Opus 5. And both of these agents are talking to each other. So you can see it sent a message to DeepSeek version 4 Flash for us and handed it off the task. So it planned everything over here, and then it's handing off the task to DeepSeek version 4 Flash. And then at the left over here, we have artifacts. Think of like specs, tickets, reviews, documents that stay in the task after the agent is finished, kind of like building a context memory. So over here, we have the first ticket, if we just take a look at it, which is to build the voxel garden. And this is the ticket that Claude Opus 5 sent to DeepSeek version 4 Flash about what to do. So it planned everything, and DeepSeek is actually going to create this. Then we also have the actual plan that Opus 5 created. You can see the decisions and everything that it created, the architecture that Opus 5 is going to run. So yeah, that's how powerful these models are. They can create something like this, have a solid plan before, it uses up your tokens. And then we can also see like the world model. All the plans are over here. But over here right now, we have DeepSeek working based off of what Opus 5 has given it. And just to see how DeepSeek version 4 Flash is working, it said that, okay, let me read the loop protocol reference first, which is something that Opus 5 gave it, then the ticket and the design, and then it's going to actually read the design and work on it. We can see over here as well. Let me start by loading the Traycer implement skill, since this is a handoff to implement the ticket. So all of that infrastructure setup was done by the Traycer desktop, not by me. Now the DeepSeek model is actually working at the moment, and you can see it's doing a lot of thinking. But one thing that it's doing is that it's ensuring that whatever it's doing, it aligns with the ticket that Opus 5 sent. So that's the benefit of working with multiple agents and having them communicate with each other. Because for example, over here, you can see that ticket says too wide. Let me place path cells with a perpendicular offset and whatever the math it needs to do to achieve that 2-cell width section that Opus 5 sent it. So yeah, that is one of the pros of working with multiple agents. And I think this is a solid example, what I'm going to show you guys right now, of why you want a model like Fable 5 or Opus 5 or even GPT 5.6 Soul doing agent orchestration, and actually having a model like DeepSeek version 4 Flash kind of use up your tokens. Because over here, you can see that the models are kind of a little bit beefing. So DeepSeek version 4 Flash actually sent a message back to Opus 5 saying like, hey, I'm kind of done. And Opus 5 said, yo, you actually did nothing. And then they sent a message back to DeepSeek version 4 Flash saying like, hey, you ended your turn after saying now let me run the design without making a single tool call. Your working directory is still empty. Please actually run the tools this time. Do not narrate what you are about to do. Just do it. Work in this order, and is guiding it on actually how to do it. But yeah, that's kind of funny to see that both of these agents are talking to each other and getting the work done while I'm just chilling, because this is something that you would probably have to check by yourself if you were not using this setup. You would probably have DeepSeek version 4 Flash come back to you and say like, hey, I'm done or something. And then you go in there and like it's not done, but the agent is handling it for us. And then Opus 5 also said that, okay, I'm going to give DeepSeek another try. If DeepSeek stalls again, I'll split the ticket into 4 smaller handoffs and keep it as an executor. Or I have the option, if DeepSeek stalls again, swap the executor to GPT 5.6 Terra, which is actually a similar model when it comes to price and everything to DeepSeek version 4 Flash, and keep Soul reviewing it. Or I could just build it yourself in this session and then have GPT 5.6 Soul review it. So all of these are options that I can take. But right now I'm going to give DeepSeek version 4 Flash another shot, and let's see what it comes back with. So it looks like DeepSeek was done creating something, and then what it did was it actually sent a message back to Opus 5 saying that, okay, I'm done, actually created something. And then what Opus 5 did is like, okay, now we have to engage GPT 5.6 Soul for reviewing. So then it created the GPT 5.6 Soul agent at the bottom over here. And you can see that this is actually using the Traycer review skill to actually review the work that we have on hand. So Traycer also comes with skills built in. So that's another plus of using this desktop application. So then GPT 5.6 Soul actually reviewed everything and made sure that everything was working. And what happened was that GPT 5.6 Soul found a couple of bugs. And these are the bugs that we see at the side over here. Okay, jumping while flushing against the wall. This is a high severity, high, medium, all these bugs. Now, what Opus 5 is doing now is trying to determine like, okay, I obviously haven't fixed anything. You said you would decide what gets fixed and by whom. Findings verified, fixed not started. So then Opus 5 decided that, okay, I have a couple of options. I can hand all of the problems back to DeepSeek to fix. We can fix them using Opus 5, or we can kind of run the whole process again, send them back, and then have Soul once again re-review everything, which is probably the strongest step. But if we just wanted to see what the review looks like, this is the code review. I'll pull it up in here. But okay, the implementation is not ready. 2 collision bugs break ordinary movement, and the fixed step loop violates the ticket's remainder guarantee. And all of this work was GPT 5.6 Soul reviewing the work that DeepSeek version 4 Flash did. So I'm going to click on this one. We're going to run this until we actually get a proper working app. So GPT 5.6 Soul did another re-verification of the output after we sent it for another run. And what this example shows you is that it shows you why it's important to have one external agent that's not part of the implementation plan as well the execution plan. For example, GPT 5.6 Soul did a review, sent it to Opus 5. And then what Opus 5 is saying over here is that GPT 5.6 Soul found an issue that Opus 5 actually missed. And that shows you exactly why having an external agent is important. And they agreed that Soul is right and I need to correct something I told you. So having GPT 5.6 Soul as an external reviewer is helping the whole workflow become much more efficient. And then here's our output. Obviously, this is pretty bare bones because we just requested a voxel garden and a movable player, which we can do. And this is the output that DeepSeek version 4 Flash actually generated using Opus 5 as the orchestrator and then GPT 5.6 Soul as the reviewer. So this is what it looks like. And one thing that this example shows us is that using Traycer's open source desktop application that I showed you guys today allows us to create a pipeline between all of these agents, kind of like a walkie-talkie between them, and talk with each other and share context between them without us doing anything manually. And that's one of the benefits of using something like this. And then we also saw how using an agent orchestrator like Opus 5 and then a reviewer like GPT 5.6 Soul helps us improve the output that we would get from DeepSeek version 4 Flash if it was just doing it by itself, because it made a couple of mistakes and then we had Opus 5 and GPT 5.6 Soul come in and clean it up. Another thing at the top over here is our usage limits. So one thing we all know is that Claude Code and anthropic models are sometimes not the most token efficient. So obviously I did all of this work. If I was just using Claude Code, it probably use up more of my tokens. But since I was just using it for planning, we are able to save some tokens over here and then only use the Codex tokens for obviously reviewing. And the majority of it was taking care of my opencode subscription with DeepSeek. So yeah, this is another benefit, is that you can use your heavy models for what they're good at, which is thinking, planning. And then for the implementation, you can use a more token efficient model like DeepSeek version 4 Flash. And let's say you're working on something like this and you want to share with your team members, there's also a sharing option over here. So you can share it through email or you can share it through the GitHub handle if they have it. But that's another cool feature because you guys can be working on multiple projects and share your output very easily, which this desktop allows us to do. But yeah, that's pretty much it for today's video. If you want to try out Traycer, I'm going to put a link in the description. It's free, it's open source, and it takes a few minutes to install. So why don't you guys try it out? And thank you once again to Traycer for sponsoring today's video. But that's it for today's video. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. Follow our new newsletter as well at universeofai.beehive.com. As well, subscribe to the main channel World of AI and support us on X by following the Universe of AIZ as well. Until then, I'll see you guys in the next video.